Hi everyone, welcome back to the Lift talky-bit. I hope you've all had a great Easter holiday and that the first week back at school hasn't been too stressful. As I'm sure I've probably already said at this point, this half term we've got an Easter theme running through Lift, and we're looking specifically at a guy called Joseph. Now, he was made famous because of his coat, which is what we're going to talk about today. Now, I want to show you something. This, very heavy. This is my wife's sewing box, okay? And it's got all kinds of stuff in here. There's lots of thread, there's scissors, and there's fabric. Now, I just want to try and show you this as clearly as possible, okay? There are all kinds of colours in here, okay? So there's white, and there's some red, and there's a slightly less reddy orangey. There's purple, and there's light green, and there's dark green, and there's yellow, and there's orange, and there's brown, and there's an interesting shade of beige, and there's I think that's blue. That's another interesting shade of blue. And there's all sorts of colours in here. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you have a coat or a shirt or a dress or something that's made from all those different colours. Everyone who saw it would be very jealous and wish they had one too. This reminds me of the story of Joseph. Joseph was the second youngest son of a guy called Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons in total, so Joseph was number 11. Of all his sons, Jacob loved Joseph the best because he was born to him in his old age. To show how much he loved Joseph, he made him a beautiful coat made of all the different colours of the rainbow. Joseph's brothers were jealous because it showed that he was their father's favourite son. A few days later, Joseph's father said to him, "Your brothers are out tending my sheep. I want you to go and check and make sure they're okay." Joseph did what his father told him to do, but when his brothers saw him coming, they made plans to kill him. "Let's kill him and throw him into a pit," they said. Then we can say he was eaten by a wild animal. When Reuben, the eldest of all the brothers, when he heard their scheme, he came to Joseph's rescue. "Let's not take his life," he said. "Instead, let's just throw him down into this pit here in the desert. But let's not harm him, because if he does die, then it won't be our fault." Okay? Reuben said this because he planned to come back later and rescue Joseph and take him back to his father. When Joseph arrived, his brothers grabbed him, ripped off his beautiful robe he was wearing and threw him into the pit. Then they sat down to eat their lunch. As they were eating, they looked up and saw a caravan of merchants coming their way. They were on their way to Egypt. "What will we gain if we kill our brother?" they said to themselves. "Let's sell him to these merchants instead." So when the merchants came by, Joseph's brothers pulled him up out of the pit and sold him for 20 pieces of silver. On their way home, the brothers began to make up a story to tell their father. They killed a goat and smeared its blood all over Joseph's coat. Then they took the coat, with all the blood all over it, back to Jacob and said to him, "We found this coat with all this blood on it. Do you think it's Joseph's?" "It is my son's coat," Jacob cried. "Surely some ferocious animal has eaten him." What a terrible thing for Joseph's brothers to do, just because they were jealous of him. Now, I hope that none of us would ever do anything so terrible, but we can learn from this story that jealousy can cause us to do things that will hurt other people. It is something that we should guard against. We have to learn to be happy with whatever our Heavenly Father has given us. Now, before we close, I just want to let you know that this isn't the end of Joseph's story, and that we will be back with him next week, where he'll be in Egypt. Okay? And spoiler alert, the entire story, because it comes in a couple of chapters, does have a happy ending, and it does see him reunited with his father and his brothers, and everybody being happy to see everybody else. Okay? After I have posted this, in the comment section I'm going to post a link to a Joseph cartoon. Now, the entire cartoon's about 20-25 minutes long, and it's going to be in 3 parts. I'm going to, over the next few weeks, I'm going to put a different part together. Okay? So the first part will pick up just as this story is kind of ending, just as it and it will take us into the beginning of his life in Egypt, where so you're all prepared for next week. Okay, I'm also gonna try and find an interesting song to post up, and if you guys want to make any comments, if you want to say anything, if you want to be in touch, please do post in the comment section below. I hope you guys are having a great time at Lift, and I'm now going to hand back over to Mark. Mark.